afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alissa, Coram, and Ed Carson here, and on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the charts of MSCI and Microsoft, as well as Datadog. But first, let's take a look at those major indexes. Here's a chart of the NASDAQ, and as you can see, it was a down day for the tech-heavy index, which lagged down over 1%. The S&P 500 and Dow also logged losses for the session, but not quite as hard hit. That looks like a little bit of rotation out of some of the growth stocks that we follow, Ed.
Yeah, some of the coronavirus plays and some of the tech stocks that are sort of held up well. I mean, the states reopening up their economies is presumably going to help those retailers and some of those, companies that have just been sort of shut down. And there was just some selling today. And as you can see, the NASDAQ had sort of cleared sort of a handle in the last few days. And that doesn't mean a whole lot for the index. I mean, it's a little resistance, but there were a lot of stocks that cleared resistance like that, formed handles. And so some of the breakouts we've seen lately ran into some trouble depending on when they broke out. And so definitely something to be looking at. It's okay for today to have, not every day is going to be up. You can see we've had a lot of up and down days. You just don't want to see a lot of them is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's right. And we are still well extended from that 21-day line here. So that's also something to consider. We've run up pretty fast here.
Yeah, we have. And that's unusual. That's unusual.
Yes. And it's a big earnings week. So we are, of course, following the post-earnings action for stocks and MSCI on our radar. Now, if you take a step back and look at the long-term picture here, a very strong performer over the long term, but MSCI struggling a bit with a breakout here on the earnings report. Started off the day higher, reversed to close lower, down about 3.6% for the day.
Yeah, I mean, this one had, it was looking strong, and like the earnings were good, the revenue missed, but this is one reason why you don't want to buy ahead of earnings or be very cautious about it, and maybe not buy in the first few minutes of trading. And this has been a great stock for a long time. Relative strength line was at a new high. There's a lot of reasons to like this, and here it is a weekly. On a weekly it doesn't look so bad, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is a long-term leader. So if you bought it and had a cushion, on it, and you're thinking about this for a long-term hold, what happened today is not that big of a deal. But it's definitely, for somebody who was buying on a breakout, this was very negative action, and it's just something to keep in mind. It doesn't happen always. One of its peers did very well today, but not this one yet. S&P Global, it has several quarters of gradually accelerating sales growth, and earnings were the strongest in over 2 years. Didn't close in the high of its range, but it did trade nicely.
And next on our list, we also mentioned how tech stocks got hit particularly today. So here's a chart of Microsoft, another long-term leader, down about 2.4% with earnings tomorrow after the close.
Yeah, Microsoft, it had broken out a couple of weeks ago, and since then it sort of struggled. I mean, honestly, it hasn't done great. It has a 175.10 buy point. That's from the double bottom. That is, it's been hitting resistance there, so that seems relevant. But it's formed a handle now on that double bottom, so it may need to get above that or some kind of situation. So it's a little awkward. I mean, this is an issue. There's no real cushion. If you bought it on the breakout, well, you're down on it, presumably, in some regard, and you're heading into earnings. You don't know how that's going to go. All of a sudden, you could be sitting on a big loss. So, I mean, this is an important one. It's got the biggest market cap of any U.S. listed company, so it's definitely going to be important for all the major indexes. But it hasn't been doing great since that breakout.
Yeah, that's right. Which is, like you said, always important to have a considerable cushion heading into the report. And if not, you can always use our earnings option strategy or look for one of those earnings gaps. And of course, we've been talking about all of those things on IBD Live. But last but not least, let's check in on the chart of Datadog, an enterprise software stock and relatively recent IPO that went public last fall, clearing a downward sloping trend line as it looks to carve out the right side of what could also potentially turn into a cup here after retaking its 50-day line not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, so it's sort of, I mean, by breaking the trend line, which it sort of did yesterday, and then it held today, you know, you could argue that's an early entry. I mean, you have to be pushing it because this is a very volatile stock. It's run up a lot. You could easily see it pull back, but the relative strength line is moving back toward highs. It's, you know, as you say, it retook the 50-day line a while ago. So if it, you know, if it ran up a little more, if it formed a handle here, that would be something to look at. I mean, you would imagine that cloud-based app monitoring would be a positive in a situation of everybody working from home and there's more internet use. You could imagine that'd be useful. The growth on this company had been great. It was sort of starting to turn profitable. It was just on the edge there. That's often a positive sign. I'm not saying this is one to jump on, but it's nice to see some of those late 2019 IPOs pick up. I mean, Ping Identity, a cybersecurity company that broke out, it sort of was struggling today, but there's some of those names were coming up, which is a positive. It's something you should at least be paying attention to.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we do have earnings still about 2 weeks away or so. So potentially enough time for, like you said, maybe more aggressive traders looking at this, but to build a little bit of cushion heading into that report. So we'll just have to see. But a lot of big names reporting their results after the close today and all throughout the week. So you can be sure that we are following all of the big movers very, very closely. What do you have your eye on this weekend for earnings?
Well, I mean, AMD tonight, then we've got Microsoft, Tesla, Facebook tomorrow, then there's Apple. I mean, you're just like 20 names I could come up. That seems like those are just my A-list things. And it is a huge week. It's going to be moving stocks. It's an exciting time. It's a busy time for all of us here.
Yes, it is. And we, of course, have all of our coverage at investors.com that we encourage you to check out. And IBD Live is also a really great place to be in the mornings where you can get that expert perspective that you need with these earnings reactions and how to handle these stocks in real time. So we hope you join us, investors.com/IBD Live. We'll see you there tomorrow morning, and we'll see you right back here after the close tomorrow. Thanks for watching.